that's better than X-ray vision, way better than X-ray vision, is the capacity to see the end in the beginning of each path you could potentially take. What a superpower.
We are back
with another reflection on the Daily Vedantic. And today's reflection, this is on somewhat of a somber topic. Sobering topic. Did an episode a few weeks back on the edge of sobriety. And how so often we want to take the edge off of sobriety. Because that's one sharp edge when we look at our lives, ourselves, or the world with sober clarity. And yet it's an edge that, when left sharp, can cut through anything. And it's so ironic we choose to dull that edge that if we could just sit with that divine discomfort as it continues to get sharpened more and more. The thing we are dulling so often is the very thing that can cut through anything. Any obstacle in our way. Clarity in which we can see through anything. The intellect within Vedanta, you have these three equipments to move through life, through the world. Body, which we all know, the mind, which is not going to take anyone by surprise. But Vedanta says we have this other subtle equipment. This other inner equipment, besides just the mind, we have the intellect. And the intellect is the capacity to see the end in the beginning. What a powerful, that's better than X-ray vision. Way better than X-ray vision is the capacity to see the end in the beginning. And anything that you do, that you might do, any decision that you are waffling between, if you could see the end in the beginning of each path you could potentially take, what a superpower. And yet we choose to dull that capacity because, well, some of it might be uncomfortable. But if you can sit with that divine discomfort while that edge gets sharpened through study, reflection, through not making the choices that dull that edge, if you can sit with it as it gets sharpened, it can cut through all of the knots that bind us. It can move beyond rope and it can cut through any chains that hold us down or hold those around us back. It can cut through whatever prison of our own making we might be in. God, I know those times in life where waking up feeling like, what did I do? How did I find myself in this nightmare? But even worse, not knowing how to get out of it. And ultimately, it's this clarity to recognize our own madness. The worst thing about a madman is that they don't know that they're mad. If any of us are caught in the midst of madness, the worst part is having absolutely no clue when those around you are telling you you're mad. Having no clue. Complete inability to see the madness. Having a disease, as Swami will say often, is pretty bad, but not knowing you have it is fatal. And madness almost always includes this imperceptible quality where you don't even know that you're mad. You think you're normal. You think you're the only one normal and everyone else is mad. And when we take the grand perspective on what drowning actually sounds like and looks like for any of us in our lives, in a relationship, in a professional pursuit, When you take that grand perspective, it reminds me of that line from Benjamin Franklin. Most men commit suicide at 25. Some just take 50 years to do it. We sign up for these decisions where we're drowning and we barely even know it. We think we're making a comfortable decision for this point in life. We think we're escaping something harsh, hard, by taking an easy choice, this other part of life, and we stack them all up, and our madness has led us so astray, thinking we're normal the whole time, that we are inescapably caught in this doom loop. Where things get duller and duller, our madness gets stronger and more pronounced, and all the while, like I said, we think we're normal. We think we made the right decisions. When I shied away from that adversity, when I did what was comfortable and convenient over and over and over again, find ourselves at the bottom of the pool. We find ourselves tied down with weights all around us, the bottom of the pool, unable to get back to the surface. That is what madness, that is what drowning, that is what suicide really looks like. Not a dramatic few seconds captured on film to hook our attention as an audience. It is far more sinister and slow. Matthew Perry, the actor from Friends that passed away a few months ago from substance abuse problems that led to drowning in his own hot tub. I remember him saying the only prayer he ever prayed in life was a prayer to God to be famous. This takes it to a whole new level. This heartbreaking perspective on drowning, on our demise, on madness, to a whole new level that we actively pray for it. We pray for the thing that is the last thing that we should ever want. We want that financial milestone so that then you can go crazy with consumption and delusion with $10 million in the bank. We pray for that relationship, for that child that then we corrupt with our own madness. That drives us crazy because we have primed them for an unwise approach to life that leads to unending angst to us as parents. We pray for fame when you could have prayed for anything and gotten it. Pray for the thing that leads to drowning in our own hot tub. We pray for madness instead of sanity. Pray for dullness instead of clarity. And as it is said at the ashram often, unwise actions destroy worlds, our own and those around us. But, and this is an important but within this episode, within this reflection, but every once in a while we're given these windows to sharpen instead of dull the blade. to cut through a knot instead of tie another one around us. Either through pain, suffering, or perspective, you're given this window to latch on to something that is higher than our current perspective might have otherwise seen. And if you take those windows, maybe you came across this episode on YouTube and had no idea what you're jumping into. Convinced there's probably not going to be anything of value in some dude talking about some timeless philosophy that you've never heard of. But you've been given this window. And there are only so many windows we're given where we can say to ourselves, maybe at this current rate, I'm drowning. And I'm not thrashing, I'm not screaming. There isn't a whole lot of drama to it, but maybe I am silently drowning. If what this guy says is true, that more often than not, the sound of drowning is silence. The mad person has no idea that they're mad. That we often pray for insanity. Pray for dullness instead of clarity. Maybe that's me. Maybe I don't know what I want. And you create that divine discomfort. You take that tiny window, create some elbow room in it, and you sit within that window, that divine discomfort for a day, maybe two. You think, maybe I don't know what I want. Maybe, if I'm honest, a lot of the decisions I've made have been wombs of sorrow. A lot of the things that I've aimed for have been wombs of sorrow. And maybe you can break out of the madness. Maybe you can find clarity where there wasn't any before. And if we can do that, then maybe we can actually make it to the surface. That is today's reflection on the Daily Vedantic. We'll see you next time.